By the grace of God. Jeez. All right. Let's see if y'all can hear me and see me. Here comes my computer so I can see me and the picture looks clear. So that's a good thing. So let's see what you guys say. Jacob says 5x5. You guys are hearing me, right? Amish at heart, Robert, 5x5. Healthy disrespect, Lorna. Okay, cool. Reason I asked about hearing me this morning, I had to record the video 3 times because I recorded it. There was no audio. Checked my audio, recorded it again. No audio. Recorded it a 3rd time. Yeah, fun stuff. So I am here. My body's telling me, Pinball, you ain't 25 anymore. Holy crap, am I sore? It was a long day. So 10 hours of cutting and bucking and stacking and burning and God knows what else. We got 14 of the 16 trees down. The yard looks like hell. You guys will see a whole bunch. I got a whole bunch of good stuff for you in the morning. So some ideas and potential catastrophes. We missed the smokehouse by a foot. Thank God we didn't take that out. That would have pissed me off. But I am in one piece. So, yes, CB, my shirt is not family friendly. Sorry. It's not YouTube friendly either, but that's beside the point. I don't know. What do you want me to do? Let's see. We go that way. We'll make it a little better. That way it won't be so obnoxious. Okay. So, yeah, interesting day today. Gee, here's a surprise. They found 6 more classified documents at Biden's house. They'll be finding them forever because Joe doesn't remember where he put them. Yeah. But remember how the hell did he put it about when he was talking about Trump and the stuff that Trump declassified? You know, irresponsible. Is that the word he used, Joe? Irresponsible? Is that it? Yeah. Oh yeah, you were vice president. You were supposed to have them anyway. Oh yeah, you're only supposed to have classified docs in the skiff, even as a VP. Okay, you don't get to take them to your desk or to your house. Joe, those are criminal charges. You know, Snowden, Edward Snowden, that name ring a bell? You might want to take a trip to Russia. Ask Bernie. He can probably tell you where a good hotel to stay is. But yeah. So that was the one fun one today. For all those of you in Atlanta, the Night of Rage seemed to get postponed today. I guess they are actually going at it now. From last I saw, the rioters, won't even give them the courtesy of calling them protesters, the terrorist thugs that are Antifa, let's see, they've already burned a cop car. They are shooting fireworks at the police, all be in protest because one of their brethren was camping out in a homeless camp and decided to shoot a cop. Yeah. What'd you think the response was going to be? Dumbass. You know, I mean, I don't know. It's a competition between Antifa and BLM. Who's the stupidest group in the country? You know, I mean, Antifa hasn't figured out how to buy $7 million houses and not pay taxes and defraud people of money yet. So give them time. They'll get there. And then, of course, the other fun one today, if you saw the Illinois Supreme Court overturned J.B. Pritzker's assault weapons ban, okay? And, of course, Pritzker is having a fit, you know. Now, of course, if they had something like a donut ban, he'd probably be having a nervous breakdown. But, you know, that's... God knows, you know, it's like, I'll take 2 large pizzas and 3 dozen donuts and then come back and get me for lunch. Fat bastard. So, hey, Alaska Preppers in the house. Hey, Rudy, what's up? Good to see you here. So, yeah, those are the fun stories today. But those of you in Illinois, you can be thankful. All the sheriffs saying, pretty much all the sheriffs saying they weren't going to enforce that idiotic law. Yeah, now the courts are saying the same thing too. So, the liberals can go cry in their, I don't know, what is it, ginger beer? What is it, lattes maybe? Who knows? So that was the excitement today in the world, I guess. But if you're in Atlanta, be careful because the crazies are on the loose tonight. And if you're in Washington, D.C., why? That's all I can say. All right, so let's get into the normal Tuesday, Saturday night deal here. Welcome to everybody. If you are new here, we'll give you the kind of rundown here real quick on what goes on. Live streams are for you guys. Okay, this is the chance for you guys to talk about what you guys want to talk about, not just have to listen to what I want to talk about. So we do Q&A from here until top of the hour. Nothing's off limits. Okay, whatever you guys want to talk about, if it's weapons, if it's gardening, if it's 1980s music, if it's who knows what, the economy, politics, we talk about it all. You guys have me jumping all over the place, so it's good brain gymnastics for me. Keep everything going, because go in every direction we can think of, which makes it a challenge, but makes it fun for me too. See if I can maintain my composure for 50 minutes. But the only thing I ask of everybody is that we all keep it polite, okay? Disagreement is fine, okay? I don't expect everybody to agree with me on everything I talk about, okay? The world would be a pretty boring place, especially with some of the ideas that I have. The only thing I do demand is that everybody in chat treat each other with respect, okay? No name calling, no, you're an idiot, all this sort of stuff. You do that. Moderators on here are absolutely fabulous. Most of them have been with me for about 2 years now. And I don't have to worry about what they do because they got it down to a science. So they will take care of any problems. Keep the riffraff out of here. Like any other channel, guys, if you got questions for me, please put it in all caps. There's 1,270 you guys in here right now. There's one of me. So that makes it easier for me to get through as many questions as I can. I don't skip any questions. There's no topics that are off limits, like I said. Okay, if you ask a question that's already been asked, then I've already answered it. I'm not going to answer it a second time. Okay, then I will skip it. I will say this, though, the way YouTube works with the screen, with the chat window, eventually it gets to a bottom and I've got to roll it all the way back up to the top, and it will block out some. So if I miss your question, I'm not doing it on purpose. It just happened to be, it got booted out there. So feel free to ask again. Understand it. If you haven't got your question in by about 8 or about 9:30, chances are I'm not going to get to it by the end. Maybe 9:40, something like that. So let's get to the top here, and we will see what's on y'all's mind and go from there. So, all right. Rena LaRue, you said you can hear but no picture. I'm hoping that's been fixed by now because I'm seeing picture on the computer perfectly clear. So, and everybody else gave me 5x5s. So, healthy disrespect. Do I have a big enough tub for an Epsom salts bath? Yeah, with your regular bathtub, guys, my knees will never get underwater. It's just not going to happen. Okay, I mean, I can sit with my back completely vertical, and my knees have to be at a 90-degree angle. It's just not happening. So, maybe I could fit in a hot tub. I ain't got one of those. So. David Haley, love the shirt. Yes, the word underneath says liberals. You guys have seen this one before. So after coming in from all day covered in sawdust and smoke and God knows what, it was like, go take a shower. And I told Mrs. P, I said, I'm just putting a t-shirt, a pair of sweats on, and I'm done. This is it. So, oh, geez. South Colorado Stetter, you are correct. We forgot the hat. Cannot believe I did that. Haven't forgot the hat in 2.5 years. I forgot the hat. So there you go. Prize to South Colorado Stetter for being more awake than me. All right. Bama J, have I checked out Atlanta? Yeah, I talked about that at the top. Okay, now you guys talking on the hat, so we got that covered. Rest of the shirt, I just covered that one. But now I'm seeing you guys no sound. Can you guys hear me now? 4x4. Audio's back. Okay. All right. All right. We're just going to get rid of that. You guys are stuck with the microphone right on my phone. So we're going to do that. Looks like I guess it's time for me to get a new mic. Okay. But what I was saying there about CCW Safe, yes. It's $10 a month, but I will tell you this, the last thing anybody wants to do is have to, after use a weapon. Certainly none of us ever want to have to do that. But I certainly don't want to be even taken into questioning without a lawyer present. And, you know, if anything ever happens, the only words out of your mouth should be, I was afraid for my life. I want to talk to my attorney. And that's all you say. Nothing else. And every other acknowledgement or anything will come from your attorney's mouth. The last thing you want to be doing after a stressful situation like that is trying to find an attorney. Okay. You want it to be one phone call. I just got arrested. Send me an attorney and let them take care of it. It's just like prepping. It's insurance. Okay. So if you own a gun, you should have insurance. Just my opinion. Amish at heart. Aren't classified documents supposed to be signed out? Who's checking the records? Unless something's changed, okay? And back when I had access to classified documents, and granted this is going back 1993, so this would be 30 years ago I got out, okay? The only place I could have a classified doc was in the SCIF. And for me to check it out, I had to sign it out. I had to go to a secure room that had nothing literally but a chair and a table in it, okay? And there was a guard there watching me. That was it. And then when I was done, it was back to go turn the doc in, and that was it. Couldn't take it anywhere. And yeah, they had to be signed out and signed back in. Yeah. How the vice president, mind you, that's when Joe got all this stuff. He was VP, so he had no authorization to have this. How he got these docs, I have no idea. I still want to know what. This is the question. I want to know what the docs concerned, not necessarily what was in them. They're never going to tell us that. Okay, were these documents on? Oh, I don't know. Let's go back to when Joe was vice president. Would it be on classified documents on Lehman Brothers? Would it be on the war in Afghanistan? I mean, what was the topic? At least I want to know about these. You know, was it the no-fly list? Was it something more nefarious. Uh, Oops, they knocked on the wrong tent. No, they knocked on the right tent. Hey, look at the bright side of things. The cop that got shot in the groin, it sucks for him, but the world has one less Antifa asshole in it. Good. Okay, if we get rid of them all, the world would be a better place. Michael Eversberg, Pinball, I have volume on the smartphone, but not on the computer. I, okay, maybe this is, again, I'm behind in comments, so hopefully you guys can hear me now. Thunderbird Green Tea. Nice name. Mad Dog 2020 is next, right? Have you been following the Crowder Daily Wire shenanigans? If so, thoughts? I read one little bit on this where they were asking him for a ridiculous amount of screen time for a $50 million contract or something like that. And the thing is this, he doesn't need them. They need him. I mean, that's the thing I always laugh. It's like the emails that I get all the time. I mean, every channel on YouTube probably, sponsor our video game or make an ad for us for this or whatever it would be. And when you tell them no, they come back and get pissy. It's like, well, we'll offer you more money. It's like, I don't care how much money you offer me. I don't need you. I'm not sponsoring your NFTs or your crypto or your lingerie or your video games or anything that I get all this crap for. Okay? Not happening. And they get pissy about it. And, it's like they'll send me another email and another email. You must have missed this email. No, I didn't. I sent it straight to spam and then deleted it. Okay? That was it. It's the same thing with Steven Crowder. He doesn't need the Daily Wire. They're coming to him. They want him to be on their channel, whatever the hell it would be. He's got his own. What does he need them for? He he's going to dictate the terms. It's the same way that every YouTuber is. I'm going to do it my way. End of story. I don't care what you want to offer me. Doesn't matter. And Crowder's the same way, and I hope he just sticks to his guns. Hector Prepper, no hat. I know. I told you, I fried too many brain cells today, I guess, when I was outside breathing too much smoke, as Mrs. P put it. All right, let's see. Governor Pork Chop. Yeah, that's about it. Or just Governor Pork. Hillbilly, Pinball, you having cold beer tonight? Yes, I've got this one. It's called Tiny Bomb. It's from what is it? Wiseacre Brewing Company out of Memphis. So it's okay. Nothing to write home about. It was something I saw. I was like, all right, we'll try it. So, it's beer. Snakebite, like that Scorpion 3. Actually, you might want to, it's a 3+, and that's important because a lot of people get the Evo 3 and the 3+ confused. Somebody even made in the comments somewhere, it's either here earlier before the live stream started or in the comments, I don't remember where I saw it, that the retail of it is $9.99, and like I told you, I got 250, but I found it $250 cheaper. Actually, the retail for the 3+ is $12.50. The retail for the Evo 3 is $9.99. So, yeah. But the difference between the Evo 3 and the 3+ is huge. Just saying. Okay. Becky Reed, how long do powdered eggshells last? Forever. I mean, I couldn't tell you. I mean, I grind them up. I put them in the garden every spring. So I know they last at least a year, from the time I plant and then continue making everything till the time I put them in the ground again. But, I mean, how long will they, maybe if the question's how long do they last in the garden? They'll completely decompose in probably about 6 months. It works like a slow release fertilizer. Okay, and so it'll keep giving that calcium to the soil. And I know there's people on YouTube who will tell you, oh, the potassium in bananas is not good for your soil. It's a different kind of potassium. There's only one kind of potassium. It's a periodic table of elements. It's symbol K. That's potassium. Okay. There's not a K1 and a K2 and vegetables and fruits. There's one. And yes, if you want to see how some of this stuff works, go do an NPK test on your soil. If you want to do it, just put some bananas in a jar and water for a couple of days and do your NPK test on just banana water and see what you get. And you'll realize there's potassium in bananas that gets released into the soil. So trust me, I did it. Okay. David Haley, when do I start seeds for planting in early April? I'm in Tennessee too. Okay, you got to be a whole lot more specific because different seeds get started at different times. I mean, I've got seeds that'll start anywhere from, no, I've already started my sweet potatoes. But I mean, I've got seeds that'll start anywhere from mid-February to the beginning of June. So it depends on not only where you're growing, but it depends on what you're growing. And if you give me a second, let me pull this up and I'll just give you just a quick idea of when you're starting different things. So bear with me because I don't have it all committed to memory. That's why I write stuff down. Okay, so if I take a look at this and just going through my list, and maybe I'll hit the plant that you want because you're in Tennessee too, and I'm in Zone 6B. Arugula, you start March 1st. Black beans, you start May 1st. Lima beans, you start June 15th. Beets, you start April 15th. Cabbage, middle of March. Cantaloupe, early May. Carrots, mid-April. Corn, early May. Cucumbers, May. Dill, May. Garlic should already long been in the ground. Iceberg lettuce, mid-March. Onions, early March. I mean, it just keep going down. It depends, peppers, mid-February. It just depends on what plant is. You're talking about ones that you'd be planting in April outside. My cabbages will go outside in April. They need a month in the house. Let's see, what else goes in April? Iceberg lettuce goes in the beginning of April. That needs a couple of weeks. Potatoes go in the ground in mid-April. That's it. That's what you got for April growing in Tennessee, at least Zone 6B. Okay. Kevin Grip, did you listen to Judas Priest back then? Interesting as it would be, I was not a Priest fan until I was probably in my 30s. I mean, even when I was, teenager in my 20s, not really. Okay. I don't know why. And then in my 30s, I started to get into some of it and things like that. And I've got probably half a dozen Priest songs on my playlist and everything. So, yes, just a little later than everybody else. North of the 52nd, there's a superstar in the house. Yes, I saw Rudy is in here. So we all bow down in Rudy's presence. Jamie Dolan, when should I dig and move a grapevine? That one I can't tell you. I have never dug up and tried to move any of my grapevines ever. So I'm not going to have an answer for you on that one. Janet Nice, can you freeze seeds? I don't know why you would. Okay, I know some people want to keep them in the freezer. There's no need. As long as they are in a cool, dark place, i.e. a drawer in the kitchen, they're fine. Okay. Some people want to freeze them. It doesn't hurt them, but it doesn't make them last any longer. Uh, Finley the dog. What security settings do I use on my garage door opener to keep my documents safe? I don't know. Do you have a little clicker for your Corvette? That might help too. Okay. Weird Jasper, do the people comply at this point? We have so many sheep in this country, they've been complying nonstop. I mean, how many people took the arm candy? Oh, okay. You told me I need to? I'll do it. Independent thought in this country, three-quarters of the people in this country, they wouldn't know what day of the week it was unless they had an iPhone. Oh, it's Monday. Look at that. You know. Trilobe question: have I heard anything about Memphis? Popular Preparedness put up a video about it. I've been away from the computer all day. I took a quick rundown of what was going on and some of the things. I mean, Winnie Hall sent me the story on Biden. That wasn't going to take me but 2 seconds to find. And then I was watching Atlanta, and then the J.B. Pritzker story happened to be right after it. So, I mean, I spent a whopping 5 minutes looking at the news. I was like, okay, that's enough to keep me going. So whatever's going on in Memphis, I don't know. TJ in Georgia, best way to store gas for a generator, non-ethanol, plastic or metal, stabilizer, for how long? Well, gas is good for somewhere between, and you can hear different people say different things, 6 to 9 months, 9 to 12 months, but without any stabilizer, don't count on your gas to be any, it'll still burn, but it'll start to get gummy at around 12 months. So that's why you want to put stabilizer in there. Plastic or metal containers, that's up to you. Advantage to plastic containers, they're not going to dent or anything like that. Disadvantage, the plastic containers got a better chance of cracking than, in cold weather or anything like that than metal does. 6 of one, half dozen the other. Depends on where you are, pros and cons, what you think. JRC Homestead says hello from Texas and hello back to you from Tennessee. Pam Fury, I've been hearing a few things about Joe going out of office in February. I talked about this a few days ago. I really think that the DNC is trying to push him out, or at least trying to convince him not to run in 2024. You got to remember this. Joe could wake up tomorrow morning and go, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore, and resign. That's possible. But to remove him from office is not simple, okay? Y'all know what it takes to impeach. To invoke the 25th is about the same, okay? You're going to need a whole lot of people that are going to have to agree. And again, this is my opinion, but I really think if it ever got that far that Congress was starting to talk about it seriously, that Joe would resign. And for a simple reason is this. He wouldn't want to go down in history as removed under the 25th Amendment. He wouldn't want to go down in history as impeached, but he could save face by going, you know what, for the best interest of the country, I think I'm going to step down. I'm getting a little old for this. And he'd at least leave with his reputation intact. As crummy as his reputation is, at least he'd think that. Brandy, thank you for the super chat. What's my opinion on Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum meeting that was this week? I hold them in the lowest regard possible. Let's put it this way. It's a bunch of elites who are completely clueless, who have no idea what it's like to work for a living, okay? I mean, you look at any of them. Who, the leaders at least, okay? Who has ever held a regular job? King Charles, Al Gore, John Kerry, you know, I mean, any of these, other ones. Uh, I mean, they are completely out of touch. What was it? John Kerry this week, they have extraterrestrial powers or something like that. One of the, it was a guy from Pakistan or something like that, came out and said the quiet part out loud that they're trying to establish a new world order. They can talk all they want and they can try to influence all they want, and they've influenced a lot of politicians. The people aren't going to go for what they want. It, some will, of course. All right, some are going to go, oh, gee, we need to get rid of coal, and we need to get rid of nuclear, and we need to just run on unicorn farts. Okay, there's enough idiots like that. But the majority of the world is going to go, this doesn't work. We don't want to be paying $86 a gallon of gas or whatever it would be like they want. So, you know, my opinion of them, I hold them in the lowest regard possible. D. Jensen, jealous of the Scorpion. It was like I wouldn't be here if I didn't find that price. So let's put it that way. And it was still oh my God, am I going to do this? Yes. Okay. And actually, I didn't get yelled at, so I was happy. Keanne Patterson, does it say Biden at the bottom of your shirt? No, close. It says liberals. I'm practicing my inclusivity. Okay. F them all. Yes. And if you have a problem with me having a problem with liberals, tough. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. All right. Dennis Ross, I saw something along the lines, and it just shot to the bottom. He said, what ham radio or GMRS radio would I recommend? If you've never done it, never used it before, start with one of those little cheap Baofangs and learn, get your ham license and then learn with that. No need to go out and buy some hot rod, $1,000, multiple $1,000 setup or whatever it is, and then realize this ain't for me. I don't need this. And now you're stuck with this huge paperweight. Go buy the one that's $40 or whatever it is and figure out if it's going to work for what you need it to do. Country Girl Prepper, what website for the pistol? I think I found it on Lucky Gunner, and the store was Black Dog up in Vermont. Did I already get rid of it? Hang on, let me see if I can tell you. It was... Yeah, right. Go through all my emails. That's going to happen. I believe it was Black Dog was the name of the store. I do know they were in Vermont. So, yeah, I'm not seeing the emails, so too many to go through. But like I said, he had one. Now he's got none because I got the one. So unless he's getting another one in, so. Delta Dawn, my husband and I are 62 and 60. We just adopted 2 Australian Shepherds. We differ on crate training. Any suggestions? I've never crate trained any of my dogs. And I've had 3 Shelties, an Irish Setter, a Westie, and the 2 I've got now. A Black Lab and a Sheltie Chow mix in my life. None of them have ever been crate trained, and I just it's just not me. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way dogs are part of the family to me. Okay, I allow the dogs on the furniture. The dog jumps up in bed. Doesn't bother me one bit. I mean, I call the dog up in bed. Daff at least will come up and give me a kiss goodnight. And she's always there first thing in the morning when I'm getting up. She wants her hug in the morning. But it's like people who think dogs should be outside, and that's not me. Okay, whatever floats everybody's boat is fine. I'm not an advocate for crate training whatsoever. So, Rudy, thank you very much for the super chat. We'll win in the end as long as we hold on to our Second Amendment. God bless you, brother, and keep up the good fight. God bless us both, brother. God bless every single one of us in the community. We all have to keep up the good fight. I completely 100% agree with you. Ed Kirkpatrick, are you identifying as a right-wing nut tonight? I identify as a right-wing nut every night. So I'm right-wing and proud of it. And ain't nobody going to tell me not to be. But I will tell you this. Try to find a right-wing nut parade. Can't, huh? I don't know. We're not allowed to have those. Hockey players don't have to wear jerseys for right-wing parades, do they? David Haley, second asks when. Okay, I think I already. When do I start seeds in the zone you're in? All depends on the seed again. Dragon Sage, thank you for the super sticker. Very greatly appreciated as well. Should at least ask a question. Trilobe, did I hear anything about Memphis preparing for riots? Okay, Steve put up a video about it. And again, we asked this before. No, I haven't. But if it's anything to do with the Night of Rage, like in Atlanta, it wouldn't surprise me. Okay, I mean, Tennessee is a very red state. Memphis is extremely blue. Okay, we have, is it 9 or 10 representatives in the House, and we have one Democrat, and that's out of Memphis. So, Fat Daddy's Outdoor Cooking. What have I planted thus far in seedlings? If you take out my test cabbage and test lettuce, which would just make sure the workbench greenhouse works, none. It's too early yet. Okay. The last thing you want to do is plant your stuff too early, because you're going to have stunted growth. It's not going to work. You got to plant them at the right time. Mid-January is still too early for me to plant anything. Mama Liam, is it too early to put your seed potatoes in the ground now? Depends on where you are. Where I am, yeah, it's way too early. Okay. Maybe if you're down in southern Florida or southern Texas or something, it might be the right time. But for me, nowhere close. I've still got 3 months to wait for that. Jeff Outdoors, Pinball, how about sardines planted with your plants? Absolutely. Okay. I put, when you guys remember me showing you all those evergreens that Mrs. P and I are putting around the perimeter of the property. Again, we'll do more in the spring. And when I plant every one of those, there's a can of sardines that goes underneath. Or if we got, if I go out and catch bluegill, a bluegill will go underneath, or whatever would be. Fish is great fertilizer. If you're going to use sardines, just one kick. Use the ones in water. Don't use the ones in oil. Okay. Not that the oil's it's not motor oil or anything like that. It's just you'd rather have the water than the oil, because oil and water don't mix, and you need to water those trees. So use the ones that are packed in water. You can use sardines with your vegetable plants and stuff, but you're not going to use a whole can of sardines under a tomato plant. You're going to use maybe one fish, because your plant's only this big. Okay. So what you end up doing is having to dig the hole a lot deeper than you need it to be. And again, personal opinion, I've found that it's probably more trouble than it's worth. You're better off, just burying a bunch of them, a month before you're going to go out and plant in the garden, and just let them rot in the garden ahead of time. Uh, do. Tammy Lee, I'm late, so sorry if this was asked. Any news on the debt ceiling? Nothing yet. The only thing that came out that was a little interesting, I guess, if you will, because I mean, I told you guys about Janet Yellen and the creative accounting she's going to use, basically not funding government employees' pensions. And she said that that will get us through around June to finance the government. And John Kennedy, Louisiana, John Kennedy, came out and said more like August or September. Now, I want you to think about this. The fiscal year, the government fiscal year, ends at the end of September. So, how are they going to play that one? They're going to try to squeak it out all the way until we have a new budget? We'll see. But yeah, as of right now, we have no agreement on the raising the debt limit, which is good in my opinion. Okay, because what it means right now is the government cannot issue, the Treasury cannot issue any more Treasury bonds. Okay, we can't borrow any more money right now. So the way I look at it is let this drag on. I don't care. We're not getting further. I mean, we're getting further and further in debt because of the interest on the debt, but we're not borrowing more money, which is a good thing. Prep like a gypsy. Get the book Seed to Seed. It will tell you everything you need to know about gardening. Well, okay, I'll give you that, but you still need to use this thing on your own too. It may say plant your peas in February. Well, that's great. Are you in Maine or are you in Phoenix? Okay. You want to do it completely different. I mean, you still need to know your area. Do you have sandy soil? Do you have loamy soil? Do you have clay soil? What do you, there's still a lot you need to learn. You can't just pick up a book and go, cool, I've got this book. I'm a master gardener now. It doesn't work that way. Secret Squirrel, thank you for the super sticker. Appreciate that. Milk and Honey Heritage Farms. What fertilizer do potatoes need? Let me get back to this chart and I will tell you exactly. You want to plant each potato with a quarter of a cup of 10-10-10, okay? Sprinkle in a little bit of Epsom salt, like a teaspoon. And then at 6 weeks, you want to side dress it with 5-10-10 when you hill up your potatoes. Is that what you want to know? It's probably more than what you wanted to know, but yes, that's the info. A couple of you guys have asked for it this week too. I've got my fertilized chart, my seed, my seed start. So what fertilizer to use on what plant. So again, if anybody wants this, email it to me. It's only the plants that I plant. If you want to know how to do okra or something like that, I can't tell you, but I probably plant 50 different things. So chances are most of what you plant is probably on here, unless you plant some real weird stuff. Susan Lathrop, up here in northern Pennsylvania, butter is $6.79 a pound for Price Chopper. I wish I could tell you what it was here because I couldn't find any the other day. So it could be $1 million. Didn't matter to me because there wasn't any. South Colorado Stetter, how high do you let your onion seedlings grow before planting? Some of mine fell over last year. Well, okay, you need to give your onions a haircut, even with your seedlings, okay? I mean, the whole time onions are growing. I mean, when you've got your seedlings and they're maybe an inch and a half high, trim them down to a half an inch and let them keep growing. Eventually those leaves, technically it's what they are going to get a little sturdier and sturdier and sturdier. And that's when you'll get your sets where you have, the bulb and maybe 3 inches of leaves in there. But you need to give those a haircut and keep them to between a half an inch and an inch. Otherwise, like you said, they'll fall over. So, Jody's Rames, have I ever experienced a total solar eclipse? One coming to the U.S. in 2024. Not that I can ever remember. So I've experienced a full moon. Sorry, bad joke. Okay. Uh, Stacy Sheffley, how long before last frost date can peas and brassicas be planted? And again, I'm going to look. Let's see. So I can give you for me. Uh, Wrong screen. Bear with me. Is it peas? Okay, peas about 6 weeks, and brassicas. I mean, so if you're talking your cabbages, your broccolis, stuff like that. Uh, oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about going outside. Uh, peas would go outside a couple of weeks before your last frost. And cabbages, same thing, a couple of weeks before your last frost, because you still have too much risk of freeze. If you remember me last year, I had my peas out, and then all of a sudden we had a freeze coming, and I was like, crap, and I'm throwing straw and plastic bags and everything like that over my peas. I saved them, but you know, it's you don't want to be doing that. But stick to a couple of weeks. You should be close enough. I mean, peas can handle a frost, no problem. It's just when you get down, all of a sudden it's 21 degrees, you're gonna get bit. Uh, Terry Moorhead, is there a ratio for my fertilizer mix? Yeah, it's what I have. That's about it. Like I said, it's not going to be an exact 10 10 10 or something like that, but the eggshells are in there for calcium. So that's what you're using there. But I go through a couple of cups of coffee every day, so I get two things of coffee, because I have the coffee maker where you can do single cup, not the Keurig thing. That thing, it's a waste of money, but where I can put my own coffee in there. So I get a couple of those, maybe a couple eggshells. Let's say on average, I get 2 eggshells a day. And then chicken bones. We eat chicken a couple of times a week, so I get those. It probably kind of balances out, but I mean, it's what you got. I mean, I'm not going to 1 tablespoon of eggshells, 1 tablespoon of chicken bone. I just put it all in there. It's all going to, if I've got a 10 10 10 or a 10 9 10, I'm not overly concerned about it. It's better than a 0 0 0. Talked about that. Talked about that. A Cushnet prepper, no mention of David Crosby. No, because it has nothing to do with prepping. So, but yes, we're starting to see a lot of the people that we all grew up on in music die. So, uh, let's see. A Statine 85, if I'm pronouncing that right, you can vacuum seal seeds to keep them longer, according to I can't remember who. Uh, okay. I'm not going to argue with it. I'm not going to say yes. I'm not going to say no. I've never vacuum sealed seeds in my life, so I can't, and I've never seen anybody test it, so I've got no evidence to say anything either way. So, okay. Again, I don't think it could hurt. Whether or not it helps, I can't tell you, but it certainly can't hurt. Donna D, how long are seeds good for before planting? Some have stored in dark for 3 years. Well, I just showed you the test I did out there with the cabbage and lettuce. I took 3-year-old and 4-year-old seed, and they all came in 2-year-old soil, and it all came up fine. It depends on the seed. Some seed you can probably plant 10 years later and it's going to work. Some seed you can plant 2 years later and it's not. Okay. But the rule of thumb is if you're not sure, put a couple of seeds on a paper towel, wet paper towel, throw them in a plastic bag, throw them in the fridge for a couple of days. Take them out, sit them on top of the refrigerator. If in about a week you see they're sprouting, you got good seeds. If they didn't, don't plant them. So, I mean, you can do that now if you've got older seeds because you're not planting yet for the most part. Check the viability of your seeds. Then you know if they're no good, you're not going to waste a week or 2 weeks waiting for them to uh, sprout. You know, you can find out now if they're no good, and you can go out and get new seeds and go from there. So, Leah, did I ever find out if Ukraine is training in Oklahoma? Yes, they are. So I did catch, somebody sent me an article on that yesterday, which shocked the living crap out of me, that we are flying Ukrainian military to the United States to train them. Because, answer me this, with all these people that are trying to get out of fighting, you know, gee, I'm in the United States already. I want asylum. How many times do you think that's going to happen? Oops says it's pretty quiet still in Memphis. Okay, that's a good thing. But then again, it's almost 9 o'clock there. Mesha Carlisle, where do I keep my banana peels until you're ready to dry them? I've got a little Tupperware container that I keep right by my coffee pot, but I wind up drying them out every couple of days. You know, it's like, because I have a banana with breakfast, a couple of cups of coffee, if Mrs. P makes eggs or whatever it is, if we have chicken for dinner. And like I said, I got this little Tupperware, you know, it's an inch, you know, what, 3 by 6 by an inch deep. It's full. Throw it on a cookie sheet, bake it in the oven, take it out. Then once it's all dry, I just keep it in a big 2-quart bowl. It's all dried out anyway until I grind it all up. And I'll grind everything up, you know, every 10 days or something like that. So, morning girl, I work at a truck stop. Can you put too many coffee grounds in your compost pile? Yeah, if that's all you have in your compost pile, sure. Okay. Coffee grounds is a green when it comes to compost. So you need to counteract it with the appropriate amount of browns. Okay. So carbon. A good, accurate volume measure is about 3 to 1, three carbon to 1 nitrogen. And I'll give you this. Let's say you have leaves this time of year, probably not getting too many leaves anymore. Shredded paper, throw the old junk mail, your bills and everything like that through a paper shredder, newspaper, whatever it is. 3 times as much newspaper. If you've got 5 pounds of coffee grounds, 15 pounds of paper. There you go. But if you have too many greens in your compost pile and no browns, yeah, you can't have too many coffee grounds. But yeah, if you have access to all those coffee grounds from the truck stop, hell yeah, take everything you can get home with you. Like I said, shred up cardboard from your Amazon boxes, newspaper, any leaves that you find. I mean, you could, with the access that you have to coffee grounds, you should have some fabulous soil. Amy Arsenault, I'm so glad I made it tonight. My hours at UPS have been missing your Tuesday night lives. Well, look at it this way. At least you still have a job because there's a whole lot of people lately who are going, I wish I could go to work. Lightning Josie, thank you for the super chat. You said, can you recommend some good short or intermediate day onions to grow? Again, I tried growing intermediate onions here. I tried candy onions last year, and it depends on who you talk to, because some places will say there's short, intermediate, and long, and there's some places that say there's only short and long. The intermediate day doesn't work for anybody. I tried intermediate day last year. I got golf ball size onions. That was a waste of time. So I got a hold of the folks at Dixondale, and I said, what do you guys suggest? And they had, what was the name of it? Hang on, I'll tell you in a second because I've got the email. There it is. Okay. So I'll just tell you my question. This is an email I sent them in November. I said, hi, hoping you can answer something because I keep getting different information. I live in northeastern Tennessee, and depending on the website, I see that some say I should grow short day and some say I should grow intermediate day. I used your intermediate day candy onions last year and didn't get decent sized onions at all. Should I try short day? I was looking at Texas Legend because it looks like it would work in both areas. And they came back and said, I would probably look at the short day onion varieties. My go-to is the 1015 Texas Super Sweet. This is a variety that will grow almost anywhere in the United States. So there's an answer to your question straight from Dixondale Farms, who's got to be the premier onion grower in the country. So I don't think I can give you anything better than they can, that's for sure. Okay. Von Mousetrap, or Von Mousetrap. Supposedly, Potato's camp said he can't be prosecuted for the hidden documents as long as he's sitting Potato. Is this true? Yes. The Department of Justice won't go after a sitting president. Congress can. Okay. The DOJ won't. But it, it's pretty much it's up to Congress to go after a president. Not that it's law, it's kind of like an unwritten law, that the Department of Justice does not prosecute a sitting president. Though we all know they've got no problem going after a former one, even without any evidence. Rena LaRue, when is the best time to take elderberry cuttings? Definitely, I'd say now would be good. Okay, you want to do it when it's dormant, which obviously we're in the wintertime and they are dormant. So don't wait until springtime. I mean, you could take it in, I'm not saying it won't work, okay, because we've tried it too. It's just really, really hard to get, especially because you're going to take cuttings of the woody material, try to root them. It's really, really hard to get the roots on the soft green material if you try it in the summer. Tommy M. Happy Vietnamese Tet Year of the Cat and Happy Chinese New Year of the Rabbit, everyone. Because that was on my holiday plan bingo card. Vicky Savage, in my opinion, remove Harris from VP first, then boot out the Potato. Again, same thing. You got to have a reason to impeach her. And unfortunately, as stupid as she is, I can't find anything illegal that she's done. Cute One says, just got a tweet, Atlanta's erupting in riots. Yeah, that was going on a couple hours ago. If it's getting worse, that's very possible. Let's see. And here we go to the bottom again. Holy crap, it's 9:57. Prep like a gypsy. What does my shirt say? It says F liberals. Jeff Outdoors says, how about CDs? Okay, you're going to have to be a whole lot more specific. Do you mean CDs as in certificates of deposit? Do you mean CDs as in playing music on? And then in what context? So I have no idea what you're talking about. Shannon Fritz, what can we use to keep cats out of a garden? Honestly, the best thing that you can do is put some netting over it of some sort, because the cats don't like that. But yeah, I know, cats using your garden as a litter box is a pain in the butt. Yeah, the best solution for that is netting. Sorry, but there isn't any. You could, I'll give you one. You could try sprinkling cayenne pepper around the garden. It might work. It might not. You may have just gone and spent $10 on cayenne pepper too. Powdered pepper. It's worth it, but it's worth a shot. Let's put it that way. Let's see. Cute One. My thoughts on Nikki Haley running possibly for president in 2024. She's got about as much chance of winning as I do. Okay. Nikki Haley Rhino is job one. And there are much more qualified women if we want to go into the identity politics thing for picking candidates. Again, there's much more qualified women than Nikki Haley for certain. Again, we're talking about somebody here who was complaining. was complaining that about being the Secretary of State. You know, there was talk that she was meeting with Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump about being vice president for Trump's second run. You know, that she's denied and everything like that. She's a rhino. She's a narcissist rhino. You know, I mean, put it this way: if Nikki Haley got the nomination, I'd be voting third party ticket so fast it wouldn't be funny. There's no way in hell I'm voting for her. A stat sign 85 again. How deep do I need to churn clay-like soil with potting soil for root vegetables to grow well? You want. I'm going to go with carrots here, just because that's probably one of your deepest root vegetables. I mean, you could talk about parsnips or something too, but you probably want about 16 inches in there of good soil. And if you're going to talk about carrots, you need 16 inches with no clay in it. Beets will do fine. Potatoes will do fine. But I'd say minimum 12, better to get 16 inches, and don't bother trying to grow carrots. And it is 10 o'clock, so I will try to find one more real quick. Florida Boy Shuffle. Do I treat the cut face of your seedling potatoes before planting? I don't bother with it. Okay. The only thing you need to do is let them, when you cut them, leave them sit on the counter for about 3 or 4 days so they kind of get that leathery feel to it, and you're done. You don't need to put any of these fancy sprays on or anything. Just leave them on the counter, let them be, they'll heal, and then you can plant them. So, all right, y'all, that is a Saturday night. I'm exhausted. I'm going to bed. We will see you all in the morning, and you get to see, I got a couple of things for you in the morning, so you get to see all that tomorrow. Have a good evening, guys. Pinball out.